Welcome back, Kings. I have another good one for you today. I was about to drink out of this, but then I realized that it has toenails in it, so I won't be doing that. Not today. Today I want to talk to you about comfort blankets. When you hear the word comfort blanket, what do you think about? Do you think about the character from Charlie Brown that has a severe emotional and physical angst when he doesn't have his blanket with him? Possibly. But no, that's not what I'm talking about. Let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a young man, a very attractive, a very accomplished, very dangerous, a very driven, a very confident young man. Allegedly, he had red hair, and allegedly, he was 6'6". Allegedly. And also, allegedly, he really liked being liked. Really liked being liked. And previously, he didn't get very much attention from girls. He really, he wasn't very charismatic. He didn't get a lot of attention from women. He really didn't have a ton going for him. He was tall, and he had plans for his future, but he really wasn't really putting into action what he knew he should be doing. But within a span of a very short 2 years, he had gained about 40 pounds in muscle. He had gained about 3 inches of height. He had learned how to mew. He had learned how to get a okay haircut instead of just what looked like putrid red mange. He'd learned how to talk to women. He'd learned how to be a gentleman. He knew how to be a gentleman already, but he really learned how to be stoic. He learned how to be confident. He learned how to be confident without being arrogant. And so within a span of 2 years, this young man had really, when it comes to getting attention from women, it was really right here in the stratosphere, essentially. And so he was getting a lot of attention from women, which was really kind of overwhelming, to say the least. It was very overwhelming for this young man. He really it was overall a positive experience, but there were definitely some negative things that came out of it, such as he really he didn't know how to talk to women just being friendly. He previously he had this ideology or this habit of talking to women where it constantly progresses until eventually becomes a relationship. But he didn't know how to talk to women in any other way that wasn't this way. And so that a lot of problems came with that. But that's not what we're talking about today. Today we're talking about when a young woman decided she didn't like him anymore. Now, this young woman was a very attractive woman that he hadn't known for too crazy long, but they had liked each other for a little while, and they didn't see each other very much, but they went back and forth on the phone. Now, he had gotten over the simping point. He was no simp by any means. This young man was the last thing he was a simp. But, like I already said, this young man, he did not... Allegedly, he really didn't know how to be just friends with a woman, because, he had just kind of been just thrown into this chaotic world of being a extremely attractive young man in the midst of losers. And, this really was, it was a very... emotional and hormonal time. Not what you're thinking. This young man still to this day wants to save himself for marriage, but nonetheless, there was lots of emotions going on in this time period. And so, this young woman whom he had attracted, she came from a very wealthy and accomplished and high up family, and the father of this family was was previously in the field that this young man wanted more than anything to be a part of, and so also that was a very attractive idea to him as well, and not just with the woman being very attractive and very well spoken and put together woman, but she had some growing up to say to say it politely. She had some growing up to do. So did he. He was not a grown man by any means. They both had some growing up to do. But and so they never ended up being in a relationship, but they talked for a while and they went back and forth. And so, and something that this young man learned over the course of these 2 years is that no matter how much a woman likes you, even if you're young and blooming Tom Cruise, if young and blooming Tom Cruise and this woman are going back and forth, young and blooming Tom Cruise woman, if this woman has something else, even if his name is Todd Glowbottom, and he's a foot shorter than young and strapping Tom Cruise, and he has nothing going for him, and he's kind of a loser, and he kind of watches TikTok all the time, and he kind of eats like crap, and he kind of has a horrible physique, even though this man is leaps and bounds better, she's going to go to him because it's convenient, because she can see him every day, or even once a week. If she can't see you once a week, or once every few months, you're out of luck, boys. I'm sorry. Long-distance relationships are a lie! Long-distance relationships are a scam. Don't get into them, no matter what. And if you're in one, end it. For the sake of you and your so-called partner. It's a lie. You're lying to her, and you're lying to yourself. Long-distance relationships are a scam, period. And so, eventually this young woman decided that she would rather have Todd Glowbottom instead of the alleged 6'6", strapping, attractive, accomplished Ginger, right? She decided that she wanted this instead of this. That's her choice. Okay, that's fine. And so she texts this character number one, and she said these things. You were very important to me in the past tense. I look forward to seeing you in the future, and you meant a lot to me. This alleged 6'6" Ginger was very hurt. Not necessarily that he was sad that he missed out on this one, because he it's not like he was at a lack of it's not like he didn't have options, because of course he did. But he was confused. He was confused on how any woman could put anything, any man on the planet above him. And he didn't understand it until somebody explained to him the idea of the comfort blanket. Now, let me find a blanket real quick. Just to help you understand. This is a shirt. It's not a blanket, but we're going to pretend like it's a blanket, because I'm not wasting 5 calories to go in to get a blanket for you to look at. So, this blanket is comfortable, right? It's cool. You don't value it very much. You don't value it very much. You don't place a ton of value on it, but it's convenient. It's cozy. It's nice. After a long day, it's nice to kind of lean back and, put the blanket around you and let it comfort you. It's very nice. It feels good. It's comforting, but you don't really need it, and most of all, you don't really value it very much. You don't place a ton of value on it. This comfort blanket is something that all men who get on holistic self-improvement will eventually have to deal with. This comfort blanket represents all of the women who are so vigorously attracted to you, and all the women who, I don't know why I use the word vigorously, I just like that word, because it sounds cool. Nonetheless, it represents all the women who are going to be attracted to you. And it could be 5, 6, 7 women at a time, which is, if you're not on holistic self-improvement, that may seem like a lie. But when you get on holistic self-improvement, you will realize that it is not a lie, and there can be 5 to 8 women attracted to you at the same time, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of but there's lots of things you have to watch out for stuff. Okay, you got to watch out for stuff. All right, but anyways, this is the comfort blanket. It represents the woman. Now, for this alleged 6'6" ginger, he had several comfort blankets, right? And but these women, so he liked being liked, but when they left him, he didn't get real psyched, you know. And not when they left him, because he wasn't dating any of these women, but and some of them, the kind of twisted part, and he admits that it is kind of twisted, but it is in man's nature to be this way. Some of them, he was definitely leading some of them on, even if he wasn't very attracted to them, because he liked being liked. He liked the attention. The attention is very nice. You know, it made him feel very warm on the inside. You know, it made him feel very good and very accomplished, and it made him feel like a man. Ooh, you know, it made him feel nice, as it should. And he was really leading these women on, and really, that's not a very nice thing that he realized. It's really not nice to lead a woman on and make her think that you like her when really you have no intentions of being in any sort of romantic relationship with her in any time in the near future. And he was doing it with all of them, really. And so, when this alleged woman became uninterested in him, he was very confused. He was very, and he thought, has she found some other being that is more better than he is? Surely not. Surely not. And come to find out, well, it's just by way of logic, he reasoned that no, she did not find anyone better, because it is impossible. It is impossible to find anyone better than him, because he is the best. He is the king. He is of divine nature. He is impeccable discipline, and he has the most heroic, most monarchical, most powerful, most influential future ahead of him. But maybe she didn't know that. And she wanted to be in a relationship like many women do, and she couldn't drag him down. She couldn't catch him. Not drag him down. That sounds bad. She couldn't get him. She couldn't get him to date her. And so, you know, I'm not, and he's not saying that this is a bad thing. It's her choice. That's okay. But she decided she didn't want anything to do with him anymore. So he was confused. But then he realized that the comfort blanket was no good. It wasn't Christ-like to be leading these women on. It wasn't what he should be doing as a masculine man. And that very next night, he prayed to the Lord that, he said, this is the prayer he said. He said, Lord, I only want you to put women in my life that will benefit me. Even if I don't end up dating them, only put women in my life that are going to benefit me. Women that, and maybe even, only put feminine women in my life, women that aren't going to drag me down, women that I'm not going to get in some sort of a useless emotional exchange with them. He didn't want that anymore. He'd been there and done that, and he only wanted to be benefited because he'd gotten so deep and so submerged in this self-improvement ideology that he wanted zero distractions. And so he prayed to the Lord, only put women in my life that would benefit him. And he went to bed, and by the end of the next day. Now, keep in mind, all alleged 5 to 8 of these women, he was talking to on a consistent basis, almost every day, all of them. And within the next day, they were gone. They had stopped texting him. It was just like it was almost like some kind of it was almost supernatural, because these women had been talking to him every day. And so he said, "Okay, Lord, like, I understand. Like, these women, I didn't have a future with them, and so you took them out of my life. I understand. Thank you." That's what he prayed for. And so he had stopped talking to all these women, and then something very interesting happened. A woman that he had been talking to almost a year prior very suddenly came back into his life. And he has been talking to her ever since. And so, who knows? Maybe he'll end up dating this woman someday. Maybe not. But regardless, they are great friends. And he thinks that he can benefit from this friendship tremendously, even if they never end up dating. And this young man, this alleged 6'6" ginger, has come to a conclusion that dating is... the purpose of dating is to find out if that is the person you're going to marry. And dating before you can get married is useless. All teenage relationships are a horrible idea, period. And I've met lots of Christian teenagers say they have Christian boundaries. And I was one of these teenagers. I know where they're coming from. I've been in a situation where I've been in a relationship and I think, well, it's going to be okay because we have boundaries. We're going to have boundaries. It'll be all right. It'll be good. It'll be all right. We won't sin. We won't do nasty, horrible things. We're saving ourselves for marriage. We're going to have boundaries. If you are in a relationship as a teen and you intend to have Christian boundaries, it will not happen, period. I have seen so many people say they're going to save themselves for marriage, and then they get into an alleged Christian boundaries relationship, and they fall into sin. And I've talked about this before. When you go down the relationship shoelace, and you go to the very end, and you do the big nasty, and then you end the relationship, there's so much emotional trauma and discourse because literally two souls have come together. That's what that's for. People don't understand this. Saving yourself for marriage has become an alien term. And so when two souls are binded together and they separate, there's so much you aren't the same. Like there's lots of emotional trauma that comes from that. And that's something that I wouldn't wish upon anybody. And so if you're wise, if you are disciplined, you will not get into a teenage relationship. If you truly value your future and you truly value the person who you like's future, you will wait. If you like them so much, you can wait, right? If you think this is the person, this is the one, I want to be close to them, you should be able to wait, right? If you think this person is so special and detrimental to your lifestyle, shouldn't you be able to wait until you're 18? Shouldn't you be able to wait till you're married? If not, sounds like a compulsive decision to me. Sounds like you really shouldn't be doing that. Sounds like you need to go learn how to cook and do some productive things and pay taxes and get a job before you start thinking about having any sort of relationship. And so, in conclusion, Kings, I'm not getting the comfort blanket again. Get rid of your comfort blankets. And I know you probably won't do this. especially if you're just now getting to the point where you're getting these comfort blankets, because you're like, this is like your whole world is changing and you're full of hormones and you really don't know what to do, and you kind of feel like you're big pimping right now, and you are. It's great. Congratulations. You made it. But there comes a point where we need to put old childish things away and we have to mature, even if that thing be lusty thoughts. And so, thank you for tuning in, Kings, and I'm on your side.